Marvel nerds? My name is Megan with Vigilante Vibes, and I am here to, surprise, surprise, do another Marvel character breakdown. And of course, it is another mutant. It's one I don't think gets talked about enough, so I am here to talk about him today. Who is Chamber? Let's talk about Chamber, let's figure out who he is, and let's learn about his life. Chamber made his Marvel Comics appearance in Generation X #1 in 1994. Jonothon Evan Starsmore, better known as Chamber, was a mutant from London whose powers showed up in the worst possible way. A massive burst of psionic energy blew out of his chest and lower face and permanently disfigured him and badly injuring his girlfriend at the time, Gail Edgerton. After that, he couldn't speak normally anymore and had to communicate telepathically. Not long after his powers emerged, Jono, who is sometimes called Jono in the comics, accepted an invite to Xavier's school, but before he even got there, he was attacked at the airport by Emplate, a mutant who survives by feeding on other mutants, which is gross. Generation X showed up just in time to save him, and Jono quickly became part of the team. He also managed to calm down the feral mutant Penance, who ended up joining them. Things did not get easier. Emplate later kidnapped Jono with Gail's help, since she blamed him for ruining his life. The two eventually worked through their trauma after Generation X rescued him. Jono also started a rocky on-again, off-again relationship with Husk, which never really found solid footing. That's all right. He grew more insecure when he realized Sync could use Jono's own powers better than he could. After Sync died, saving human students from an anti-mutant attack, the Generation X kids decided it was time to stop training and start acting. Jono was offered a spot on the X-Men but turned it down and went back to London, briefly becoming a publicity prop for pop star Sugarcane before ditching her and eventually joining the X-Men anyway. As an X-Man, he investigated the murders of mutant students and formed brief connections with people like Amber, a shapeshifter, and Walter, a former anti-mutant activist. When things fell apart, Jono asked to step away, feeling like he still hadn't figured himself out. Later, things spiraled. Seeing Husk with Archangel sent him over the edge, leading to him wrecking a bar and punching Warren, who is Archangel, by the way. He was arrested and, while in prison, recruited into Weapon X, though secretly he was spying for the X-Men. Weapon X temporarily restored his body, but during the chaos of M-Day, Jono lost his powers again. Without the device stabilizing him, he was left with a hollow chest and no jaw, barely alive, stuck on life support. He was eventually taken to England by Clan Akaba, descendants of the Apocalypse, who healed his chest using Apocalypse's blood and revealed Jono was also one of the Apocalypse's descendants. Though they offered him a place among them and warned his powers would return, Jono refused and walked away, done with mutant factions and teams. At his lowest point, contemplating suicide over his altered appearance, Jono was found by Night Thrasher and recruited into the new version of the New Warriors. Going by the new name Decibel, he used a sonic harness to fight crime and openly criticized Tony Stark and the Initiative. The team suffered heavy losses, but chose to stick together anyway, forming a tight-knit family despite internal tensions and secrets, especially surrounding Night Thrasher's identity. But what are you going to do? Families fight. Eventually, the New Warriors disbanded after more deaths, and Jono ended up in Utopia. Thanks to one of Legion's reality rewrites, Jono got his powers back and returned to his original appearance, though losing his face and chest again hit him hard. Still, he rejoined the X-Men and later sided with Wolverine during the Schism, becoming a teacher at the Jean Grey School. He focused on protecting his students and tried to stay neutral during major conflicts like Avengers vs. X-Men. Jono was repeatedly pulled into Legion-related disasters, surviving possession, reality warping, and even death itself more than once. Over time, he grew into a mentor, especially alongside Jubilee. Their bond deepened and eventually becoming romantic, especially after Jono helped support her and her son Shogo through some truly traumatic moments. After another mutant decimation and Jubilee's apparent death, Jono took responsibility for Shogo and went underground, leading the Morlocks. Though he initially refused to rejoin the X-Men, he eventually returned when the Marauders massacred his people. In the final confrontation, Jono killed the Marauders himself, but was mortally wounded soon after and died, only to later return following the creation of the mutant nation of Krakoa, where resurrection became possible. On Krakoa, Jono bounced between teams, including the New Mutants and Nightcrawler's Legionaries. Things went badly during one mission when he was possessed and accidentally killed teammates. Afterward, he worked alongside Husk, investigating X Corp, and reflected on relying on too much raw power. Following the fall of Orcus and the chaos of the Hellfire Gala, Jono either briefly died again or was exiled before being brought back again. When everything finally settled, Chamber returned home to London, still scarred, still powerful, and still trying to figure out who he is outside of endless mutant wars. And basically that is that it's one war after another in Chamber's life. And you just can't help but feel bad for the guy. He goes through a lot. But, don't we all? So that's Chamber. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know in the comments if you want one of your favorite characters to be broken down, because I love doing these. And thank you to the listener or watcher who asked me to do Chamber, because I did not think to do Chamber. To be honest, there are so many mutants in the world, and it is really hard to nail down every single one. But they're all cool, man. Like, they're all cool. So if you have a favorite mutant or a favorite Marvel character, just let me know, because I really do like doing these. So with that being said, be sure to like and subscribe, and have a marvelous day.